The COVID pandemic has also exacerbated Philadelphia's homeless population. In addition to dealing with a massive increase in the number of homeless people in Philadelphia, there has been an increase in drug consumption. More notably for Kensington Avenue, the reason you see many people sleeping while standing, drowsing, and bending over is due to the drug Xylazine. Xylazine is a sedative with analgesic and muscle relaxant properties that are used in veterinary medicine. It is used to calm and facilitate the handling of a variety of animal species, including cattle, sheep, and horses, as well as to perform diagnostic and surgical procedures, relieve pain, and act as a local anesthetic. In Philadelphia, Xylazine began to gain popularity in the mid-2010s. People who use and sold drugs allege that Xylazine had become a highly sought-after substance and that it has become a much more common component of the local drug supply. The reports from Philadelphia, as well as hints that Xylazine was apparent in other parts of the country, prompted the researchers and colleagues to try to track the drug's spread across the continental United States. Xylazine was found in 0.36% of overdose death in 2015, according to research. It increased to 6.7% by 2020. that the person has. In reality, drug addiction is none of the above. It is a chronic brain disease that cannot be cured with a simple no or change of mind. It is critical to recognize this before asking, why do people become addicted to drugs? Or why did my child become addicted to drugs? More than likely, you may have additional questions such as, how did this happen? Your loved ones may have been properly raised with a strong moral foundation or in a good home, but they can still begin using drugs. The truth is that people use drugs for a variety of reasons, and they become addicted for a variety of reasons. It is critical that for the individual not to blame themselves or the loved one before you have thoroughly investigated the situation. As concerned family members, we frequently wonder, why do some people become addicted to drugs while others not? This is a valid question, and many drug users don't believe they'll become addicted. The truth is that anyone can become addicted to drugs, and there are a variety of factors that make them more vulnerable. The following are some of the most common risk factors or potential causes of drug addiction. 1. Early life stressors, such as being abused or witnessing trauma. 2. Abuse, either physical or sexual, in the past. 3. Genetic vulnerability, such as other family members who struggle with addiction. 4. Prenatal alcohol or drug exposure while in the womb. 5. Lack of parental supervision or monitoring during adolescence, peer pressure from friends or social circles, or association with drug-using peers. Mental health disorders such as depression and anxiety. A person's susceptibility to addiction can be influenced by a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Genetics, according to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, accounts for roughly half of a person's likelihood of developing an addiction. As a result, environmental risk factors such as stress, trauma, abuse, the lack of education, low-income neighborhoods, and high school parties play an important role. Adolescents who use drugs are more likely to develop a drug addiction behavior because their brain is still developing. Exposing the brain to drugs during this critical period can result in long-term brain changes and an increased risk of dependency later in life. research, nearly 70% of adolescents who tried an illicit drug before the age of 13 develop a clinical addiction within the next 7 years. Those between the ages of 18 and 25 are also at high risk as their brains mature. In fact, 9 out of 10 people who struggle with substance abuse began using before the age of 18. Science has contributed to a better understanding of how drug abuse affects people and how addiction develops over time. It causes intense craving in the same part of the brain as the survival instinct. As a result, acting on these cravings, i.e., using drugs, becomes an overwhelming and desperate need. The brain believes it requires the drugs to function and survive. At the same time that the brain's reward system is affected, the parts of the brain responsible for judgment, decision-making, learning, and self-control are also affected. Because a person loses the ability to make rational decisions and control impulses as a result of these physical changes, quitting drugs becomes even more difficult. It also entails reframing a person's perspective and definition of drug use. It is no longer a matter of survival, but of destruction. To get to the bottom of their drug use behaviors, education combined with cognitive therapy is required. By considering the outcomes and alternatives, the brain can be taught to crave healthier behaviors and to dismiss drug cravings over time. It is possible to teach it to seek and prioritize meaningful relationships and activities over drugs and alcohol.